Are you always trying to do things the hard way? Have you become like Sisyphus, condemned to rolling a stone up a hill over and over again? Or are you ready to allow life to be easy? Are you prepared to take responsibility for where you are now as you give permission to yourself to succeed? This means you'll have to stop the self-sabotaging beliefs and the blame-shifting behavior, and you'll be required to believe. You'll be required to believe in yourself, your abilities, and your dreams. In short, you'll have to give up the excuses and the self-pity so that you can achieve. Your dreams are waiting. You have the power to make them come true. So it's time to ask yourself, am I willing to allow myself to succeed? Or, welcome everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio. And if you're ready to allow success to be easy, if you're willing to stop resisting and start allowing, then I want you to stay with me, because when we come back, we're going to discover how to succeed with ease.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. In truth, nothing can dim your magnificence. You are a divine spark, a universal light. You are here on purpose. You are part of a divine plan, and it's our joy to support you. We're here to celebrate you. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com. Great news, everyone. Angel Heart Radio is now live streaming on our Facebook page, and we have a fully searchable, brilliant podcast platform for you at AngelHeartListen.com. Put the power of the spiritual realm to work in your life with Marcia Martin on Angel Heart Radio starts now.
So we're back, and today we want to look at how we can allow the life journey, the spiritual unfolding, to be easy. The thing that we need to remember is that it is not designed to be one difficult moment after another. If you begin the spiritual journey thinking, oh my gosh, okay, well, the way that I will know that I'm in alignment is if it becomes really, really difficult. Then you know that's the ego trying to fool you and trying to get you to quit. Now let's take a look at that. Why would the ego want you to quit? Well, because the ego is a false premise that believes that you must be dependent on outside influence, including itself, in order for it to survive. It wants everything to come from outside of you. But what we need to understand is the ego can be a wonderful tool. It is for you to be self-focused. It's not good for you to be self-focused to the exclusion of everything and everyone else. So the ego serves a wonderful purpose. You don't need to get rid of it. You need to use it intelligently. You need to use the ego to help you see the ways in which you can create more good in your own life. But then you don't want to be exclusionary with that good. You want that good to fill you up completely and then flow out into the world, so that we create a beautiful experience of joy for ourselves and for everyone around us. So let's start looking at how we can recognize the spiritual journey and all of its benefits without stepping into the negativity that would perhaps make it feel that it's so difficult to be a spiritual being in a physical life experience, and then use that as an excuse why we should quit. First thing we really need to pay attention to is the fact that wanting and allowing are not the same thing. Let's get really clear on that. I can say, I want $1 million. But if my money program says that that is not allowed, if I have grown up, let's say, in a home that says if you have a lot of dollars, then you are a bad person, and I want to be seen as a good person, I would never allow myself to accumulate a lot of dollars. I may allow myself to accumulate other things that I don't feel negatively attached to, but I will always do it at the expense of the dollars that I am allowing myself to hold on to. So I may even accumulate a lot of debt because I want to make sure that I'm seen as a good person, and my family of origin taught me that a good person doesn't have a lot of dollars. So we need to make sure that we are wanting things that and also allowing them. Our manifestation or what we allow can't come from the place of wishful thinking. So it is so important, especially, and this is going to make your manifestation journey just that much easier. If you begin saying, this is what I desire, now I need to look at what I am allowing, you will find much more ease in your manifestation, because manifestation requires alignment. All of you has to be in agreement that this is what not only what you desire, but what you agree to receive. Wishful thinking would say things like, I sure hope so, with your mouth. Meanwhile, the heart will be saying something like, well, I know it's not going to work out, or that's completely against my principles, so I won't let it work out, no matter how much I believe I want it to work out. This is where I want you to be very careful about not sabotaging yourself. If you hear yourself, and you got to pay attention, but if you hear yourself saying one thing, but when you feel it, when you are checking on the feeling of it, it gives you a stomach ache, or you feel very disconnected from what you're saying, you need to look at that disconnection point and fix it if you are going to find manifestation to be easy. Because when we want from our place of pain, which is negativity, limiting beliefs, our wounds, then it's wishful thinking. Creation can only come from clarity, or you will manifest your confusion. And I think it's very, very important that we understand that we can only succeed to the point that our wounding allows us. So if you are dealing with deep wounding from trauma, abuse, or any other situation, you must do something to clear that before you're going to be able to move past it. And there are many, many wonderful programs that can help you clear trauma. If you want to do deep heart healing, then I welcome you to contact me or join my community or pursue that work. However, as my guides always tell us, all roads lead to Rome. So you must find the program that you best resonate with that will help you clear. That's the important thing, not that you do this program or that program. The important thing is that you find the one that speaks to your heart and makes you feel that you have great confidence in succeeding or clearing. And then that program will help you make the most progress. Got to remember that if you are manifesting from your confusion or manifesting from your trauma, the result can only be everything you don't want. All of the things that you're trying to avoid, and usually our response is, I just don't get it. I was believing that I was going to get this job, but instead I got rejected from 5 jobs. When that kind of pattern begins popping up for you, you need to look at it. What's going on? What's standing in the way between me and the thing that I believe that I am desiring? There will always be something underneath there. So it's time to ask yourself the really great questions of, how did I get here? What is it that's allowing this to be what I'm manifesting? Was I truly believing for the best, or was I saying I wanted it with my mouth and not assigning any possibility for it coming true with my heart? Or am I playing the tape of, it's so hard that I might as well just give up before I really apply enough effort for anything positive to happen? And of course, the one that we all need to avoid is, well, now I just want to quit. Quitting is always an option, but you're never going to find joy by quitting. You're never going to find success by quitting. Confusion is only going to beget confusion. So don't look for ease to come from the place of confusion. If you want it to be easy, you got to allow it to be easy. Don't be your best saboteur. The spiritual journey will provide challenges for you when you need to grow. Don't make it more difficult than it needs to be by adding in all your layers of dysfunction. Instead, be open and honest with yourself so that you can sift through the layers and find ease in your manifestation process. Ease will come from clarity and doing the work to heal the pain instead of ignoring it. Also, ease comes by asking for and being open to energetic support. This is designed to be easy. Help is unending. You have all the tools you need, and you have the physical and mental capacity you need for whatever it is that you're wanting to accomplish. In short, the deck is always stacked in your favor. But most of us didn't grow up teaching. So that could be something that's standing in the way. Now let's go to our first caller and find out what's standing in the way of their ease. Now, we've got to remember, you have to be teachable. So let's say, and caller, this is not about you. Let's just say that the angels tell our caller that the thing that they need to do in order to make it easy in their life is to get out of the way. In other words, stop talking to themselves in a way that makes it more difficult, or stop agreeing to a journey that is more uphill than is level. So in other words, someone says to you, hey, Mark, I want you to help me on this program. And you say, oh, great, I'd love to help you. What does it entail? And they explain that the program that they want you to help them on is completely out of your knowledge zone. So let me use myself as an example. So let's say somebody said to me, okay, I know you're a teacher and I need a calculus tutor. That is not going to work for me. I would still want to help. Let's say I'm going to help Mark, just so we have a name. I would have to say, Mark, I really thank you for thinking of me. But calculus is not something that I understand well enough in order to teach it. That's a way that I am not making my journey more difficult. If I were to say, absolutely, Mark, I want to help you. It's very important to me that I help absolutely every single person that comes to me. So I'm going to agree to do this whether I have the ability or not. I then can't go back later and say to the angels, this is too hard. I want to quit. I deliberately was stepping into a place where I have no expertise and pretending that I did, and then saying, gosh, it's too hard. No, I'm not being honest. I have stepped out of something that I know about, and I'm trying to step into a place where I don't belong. Stay in your own lane. There's something that you do better than anyone else. That's what you're here to do. Explore those things, and you can add in other things, but play to your strengths, and as you are able, improve the weaknesses. But don't try to go to your weakest place. For me, it would be calculus or higher math that I never studied, and then try to pretend that you know how to do it and think that you're going to be effective, happy, or successful. So now, our first caller is from 630, and as always, remember you're in a public space, so you don't need to tell me your given name, just what you would like me to call you today. Caller, how can the angels help you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty happy. I don't feel like I need a lot of help. I was listening to what you were saying, and I think that, like, I don't know, it just came to mind, like, you talked about, like, if you have negative energy, it just begets negative energy. So I've really been trying to work on that, and because I do believe in this, my name, you can call me Al, but I believe, like there's nothing to fear but fear itself, kind of, because I think Theodore Roosevelt said that, because, you know, like, there's a lot of fear with this coronavirus going around, and, you know, I'm myself under lockdown, so it's not very easy at all, and sometimes you're just kind of going crazy in the house, and it's like, well, you got to think of things to do and still be grateful. So I just changed my mind, go in another room, take out the paint. You know, I don't really like painting, but I am an artist. But I like it, but it's a talent I have, but I'd rather be outside, you know. So, but I'll paint, or I'll, look at the flowers that I got last weekend, and then take a walk, and then just say, well, I'll just stay another half hour just walking around 6 feet away from people, and just try to be positive. And I think when you're grateful, you appreciate a lot more things, and you really do need to I needed to change my thoughts, because it creates stuff in your mind. And if it's negative or very muddled or very kind of unclear, you can't see things clearly. So it's kind of working for me, and it feels really good. And with that, too, I just pretty much now go within, because I think sometimes I used to look a lot outside, and I think this coronavirus makes people, or at least me, really kind of go within a lot more. You can't go outside that much or go do something, so you just have to kind of, when you're home, do a lot more things. So it can be positive, but you don't always feel like that. But, it's been interesting, and I do think that your mind controls a lot of what you do, because I got really worried about something with the virus, and then I thought about it, and I started reading about it, and then I acted on it and said, okay, I think I can do this. I can't do this, but I can do this. And this is a good option for me, and this will work for now to keep me safe. And, it's just real interesting. The mind can be very powerful, and I think sometimes you just get to a point where you want to just change. And that's been happening for me. So I feel blessed, and it's long overdue. So I do believe in what you are saying about the mind, Well,
I think you've brought up so many wonderful points here. So let's just kind of go over
them. Yeah, I did bring
them.
up a lot of points.
Yeah. Let's go over them so that everyone will benefit. The thing to remember, I think the thing that you said that stuck out most to me is the mind is so powerful. Let's never forget the immense power that we have under our control. The only time the mind becomes an enemy is when it's allowed to run off and do anything it wants to do. We've got to think of our mind as our child. Our children, if they are left to do anything they want to do, will stick forks in electric sockets. They'll pull pans of boiling water down from the stove, not because they want to get hurt or do themselves harm, but because they're curious about what this thing is, and they don't understand that there's danger associated with it. So if we start approaching our minds as the child and the heart as the parent, we can get a better handle on what we're going to allow. So when your mind started saying to you, "Oh, this is really tough. I really hate quarantine," you had the opportunity to say, "Yeah, it's really lousy. I hate everything." Instead, you made a very wise decision, and you made the decision to do more things, do different things, and to find things to be grateful for.
Yeah, and I did that this morning, actually, because, I went out at 8. I get up, really early in the morning, and so I went out at 8, and I power walked, and I actually ran 6 blocks. And I came back, and it was about 10, and I was just really sad, coming into the house. And I'm like, well, there's not much to look forward to till lunch. But then I thought, you know what, though? I do have these things I can do today, and it's like everybody else might be doing their own thing, and they don't really care about me. But guess what? I care about me. And so it really was weird. All of a sudden I said, okay, I can do Netflix at this time, and then I'm going to do this morning, and then this and this has to get done. If I don't get this done, then I'm not going to have any free time because I'm very task-oriented. I'm a super achiever, and I've got to, make these things happen. I don't just sit around. Sometimes I have, but that's not healthy. So I did that, and then I had the free time, and then I got so busy that before I knew it, it was 3 o'clock, and I said, oh, I think I want a pizza. So, you were able to get that, where they can deliver it to you, and it seems to be safe, just has to be hot, and you have to make sure you throw away the garbage. And, and I know all the stuff that you have to do, and so, and I stay 6 feet away from people, so, and I wear a mask. So some people aren't doing that, and it's really shocking, with the news. But, for me, I just pretty much ignore it. I'll watch it for half an hour and then say, this is ridiculous, and, nothing's going to improve until these people get their minds together because this is serious stuff, and the world's going crazy, but I'm not going to get into that. So then I just say, okay, well, I'm just going to do this then, and then I'll do this, and then before you know it, they called me about the pizza, and it was here, and I had a lovely dinner, and then after this, I have some other things I have to do, appointments, phone things with some people from 7 to 9, and then I want to watch Netflix again and then go to bed at 10:30. So, life can really be a lot of fun too, if you change it. So,
exactly.
I think you had a good point, and you can get real sad and then live with the sadness for a little bit, but then feel the feeling too, because
you've
to
got to honor all the emotions. This is not about, oh, I feel sad. I better run away from that. That's not going to help you because then you become that volcano that finally gets so hot that you've got to explode. It's just taking responsibility for where you are. So, okay, I really hate quarantine. I'm really lonely or sad or wherever. Okay, I get it. I know that that's true. But how can staying sad help me? Well, if you can answer that with
powerful.
a positive.
Yeah.
So,
but you said it. You said it. The mind is very powerful, and
let's
it's
honor
just like
that power. Yes, we've got to honor the power, because if you ignore it and say, "Oh, it's nothing," no, honor the fact that the mind is powerful, but please allow your heart to lead the way. But the wounded heart will lead you astray, and that's where we need to be very clear. And I love also the fact that you're using tasks, that you are not just letting this be a completely unproductive time, because that can be another way that we devolve into chaos. So you got to have...
And also you waste your time in life. There are people that have died. I mean, you have to be thankful. At least, you're not dead. And, a lot of people have died. And I think that, you have to, stay tuned. And just sometimes you come to certain conclusions in life that maybe, life isn't forever. You're not 5 years old. There's like 85 years left. Right. So anyways, it is what it is.
Well, I think certainly
I'm too smart for my age, probably.
Oh, I think you're brilliant, and I love it. And I love the fact that you also brought up the gift that Corona has given everyone is needing to be present. If we are sleepwalking through this, we won't remember to wash our hands or just to be a little bit more mindful about where we are and what we're doing.
What if you sleepwalk after this? And what if you turn bad when it's over? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be something lasting, and unfortunately it's not going to happen, I don't think. And that's what makes me very sad, because that gets to a different point, that I don't think that actually people are going to, like, really, I'm not cynical, but from what you see in this world, the way people behave now, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I can't worry about it. Listen, my hands are off. I'm taking care of myself the rest of my life. But I'm just like, I don't even know with all the deaths and everything if it's really going to change people, because something's been missing, and the values and I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And it's just really sad, because I think people might just go back to the same ways right away. And especially it's narcissism more than anything else.
Well, that's why
it's a serious thing,
But that's why you are so important in the world. Everyone who is aware of the grace of the present moment and the need to be grateful for all that we have is really being called to stand up tall during this time and to lead by example. We can't lead.
Well, I think you should do it for yourself, though. I've always done things for others. I'm not doing this for other people. It's for me. I live my life for other people. So I can't get into this whole thing. But I just wonder, what do you think is going to happen with people when this is over? Because, like, even just seeing now the behavior where people aren't concerned sometimes, and they're, congregating more than 10 people than what's allowed. And, if the outbreaks keep on happening and it gets worse and, more people die, whatever, then they go back to strict containment or whatever it's going to be. They haven't done the isolation and the testing like in South Korea. But if this happens and people just continue being like this, how can that be? Like, I just wonder, like, you seem to know a lot about people. What in the world could people be thinking? I don't understand it.
Excellent question, because that's the thing that we are really being called to right now as early awakeners. We are being called to set an example and to live in a purposeful way and joyful way, so that other people who see you will then be encouraged and excited by the example that you're.
Can I ask you, why are some people, is it something in your genes, the narcissism?
No.
I've been very interested in that subject with society.
Okay, now that's Yep, that's a different issue. And narcissism generally arises because someone may have been overindulged for the things that they could do, so for their achievements, but underindulged for themselves. So instead of getting a hug, they would get a pat on the back for doing a good job. But when they were crying, upset, or needing to be comforted, nobody had any time for that person. So they learned to show off in order to get attention.
So what happens in America, that society has become more that way, more and more over the last 10, 15, 20 years, and then, especially the last 5 or 8 years, and then this coronavirus happens, I don't know. I guess I'm getting off to a different subject, but to me it's like on a global level, like very, very interesting because it's just like, it's really, I don't know. It's there's a lot of messages from above on this.
Incredible messages.
That's a different subject. I don't know.
Well, we needed to understand from the virus that not only are we one being, we are truly one population, and what someone else does will affect us. So we've got to be leading the way to show people how you can love yourself and it will overflow onto others. We don't need to be in a competitive...
But why would they do that? Why would a person go into a crowd like they're thinking, I don't understand the thinking, like...
Well, first of all, they are not perceived. They are looking at it from a different perspective than you are.
Oh.
So they're looking at it and they're saying people are trying to
fun.
Yes, and they're saying people are taking things from me. My fun has been taken. My ability to earn a living has been taken.
Right.
So, gosh darn it, I'm going to get it back. They're not thinking.
But it is. But you know what? It's bad karma and it's a sick thinking. And I'm sorry, you're responsible for it. No one else is. And that's the problem that's going on. But like you said, you got to just change your thoughts for yourself because you can't control other people. And it's just the way it is, But how did you learn so much? Because I listened to your show once before, and you know about a lot of different things. It seems, like on a deeper level.
Years and years and years of study. I actually began my love affair with the mind as a psychology student, psychology and education, and it was 20 years later that I really understood that the mind is the child and the heart is the parent. And that was only from my own falling down and making mistakes so many times and being so mind reliant and then getting into a whole bunch of tough stuff because I wasn't looking at things properly. I was sort of looking at them backwards. I was, if I can measure whether I'm successful if I have this job or that money, but I wasn't looking at the wounding that was in place, which was saying, but that would mean that you're a bad person. And so I would achieve all these things and immediately have to blow them up in order to be a good person. I couldn't have both things. And it was years and years and years. But because I love the mind, I'm always studying. I want to know the why and the how and the reason behind. And being able to channel with the energetic realm, they have taught me so much. They've expanded my focus away from the mind and into the energetic body, into the understanding of what's really driving the car. And that has enabled me then to let go of all of these programs that were holding me stuck and to step away from reliance on the mind. Even though the mind is a beautiful analytical machine, it doesn't have the ability to comprehend the kind of support that's available to us when we are in alignment. So if you are talking about all of these people who are saying, poor me, all these things are taken from me, then you're looking at people who are mind controlled. They are only able to see that this thing that I want is no longer in my possession.
They're very limited. They're not nice people. You know, if there's something wrong there, I'm sorry. I don't care. That's how I feel. I feel that there's always a choice.
Yes, and they've become disconnected from the divine, so they can't see. They see the virus as a threat. They see everything that's taken from them as a threat. They can't see any benefit that they're gaining, and they haven't used this time to expand the heart. They've only become more contracted and more fear-filled.
So do you you use your experience as a counselor or something like that?
Yes.
Like a personal, what is it called? Like one of those people coaches or something like that, or a counselor more?
Yes. And, that's the whole, I help people overcome fear and trauma using the energetic realm to guide them, because it's never the thing on the surface. It's never where you are. It's what's created this interaction so that you can arrive where you are today that is causing you the problem. So we go to the point of origin, the beginning of, where did this start? Usually in childhood, sometimes it's past life, but we go to the place it began because the energetic realm can show us that, and we begin dissolving the agreements that were in place, the pain that came as a result. We heal all of that so that you're able to move forward without all of that baggage holding you down.
Do you have like a psychology degree too? Because that sounds like a lot of psychology.
Yes, and I'm in a doctoral program right now.
Wow.
So, as I said, I like to enjoy spending time understanding why. But I'm gonna have to thank you so much for your contribution, but we have additional callers. So even though I could talk to you forever.
Thank you. Yeah, you're so sweet. God bless you.
Thank you. And thank you.
There.
Well, thank you for reminding us that when we look at things with gratitude instead of fear or resentment, everything becomes easier. So you're our blessing. Yes, and you have been a beautiful blessing to all of us today. So thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to stand and listen. Thank you.
Oh, please do. And now, calling from 916, and again, remember, whatever name you want me to call you is the name I want you to share. So caller from 916. Check your settings. You might be on mute because we can't hear anything. Okay, I'm going to put you back on hold, and we'll check back with you later. And another caller from 731. Hi there. What would you like me to call you? Hi, Jeff. I know that voice.
Yes. Thank you so much. Listen, I want to thank you for your book, Sherry.
Oh, Sherry's not here with me today, though.
Oh, that's not Sherry. I'm sorry.
No, that was... no, she's just a caller who was our blessing for today to remind us to go toward gratitude. But yes, we do want to thank Sherry because that is one of the ways we can make our journey easier, is to go to sources that will inspire and uplift us so that our mind will be turned away from the darkness and the despair that we may have created with whatever we're looking at. And we need to remember how powerful what we see, what we take in with our senses becomes for us. So if you don't like what you're looking at, if it is making you feel bad, if it's bringing you down, if it is causing you dissatisfaction or pain, you are in control. You can change what you're looking at. And just like our caller earlier, Belle, told us, she can paint, she can go out, she can create things to do, tasks that will take up the time. Or she could have said, everything's bad. I hate my life. It's terrible. Everybody's terrible. And she would have been dissatisfied, angry, and becoming more and more dissatisfied with everything and have gotten further and further away from a state of joy. Instead, she chose to interact with gratitude. So let's take a look. Now that things are beginning to open up, and I'm still in a state that is, most things are still closed, but as things begin to open, let's be respectful to ourselves and to other people by going into these establishments with joy. And probably a good idea to continue to wear whatever mask you have given yourself, because I want us to remember the virus is not out to get you. This is not punishment from God. This is not being done because we are a sinful population. Things come and things go. Our immune system weakens and it strengthens. This is sort of a global reset, a way for us to remember that we are all one, and that when we look at all that we have to be grateful for, life becomes a beautiful symphony, a harmony, and becomes easier. But one of the things that we have agreed to when we step into the physical journey, one of the things that we've agreed to is to be challenged so that we will grow. So you're never, no matter how great your attitude is, you're never going to escape and live challenge-free. If you tried to do that, your life would get so boring you would want to just quit. So expect that you're going to have challenges, and this virus is just one of the challenges that we agreed to experience along the way. Oh, what would it be like if we all had to go into a quarantine situation because our immune systems are not ready to deal with this new virus that has managed to get into the population? It's not punishment. It's growth. It's an opportunity to go within and see how much more you can be. Finding new ways to be joyful. Now, it's also painful, so we've got to recognize that it's painful to be isolated from other people. So do your best to be the joyful being of love whenever you do get out. But let's be respectful. It's probably not very nice if somebody is being really fear-based to run up in their personal space and tell them how stupid they are for being fear-based. First of all, unless you've had a test, you don't know if you're asymptomatic and you are a virus carrier. So unless you know for sure that you are not carrying this virus, risk other people. Keep the 6-foot distance. And let's understand, the virus is not a hoax. We all, at this point, know people who have chosen this as a way to end their life journey. This is not a hoax. This is a disease that you can interact with if you want to. So do not be disrespectful to others who are in a fear-based space and make fun of them for taking precautions. At the same time, don't disrespect your own body and take no precautions. Unless you know that your immune system is able to fight this easily, then wash your hands, wear the mask, respect the distance, and love yourself so much that you get adequate rest and that you eat healthy foods and that you get exercise and you do what you need to do to keep your mood elevated. But recognize that this is a tough time and there will be periods where you're not feeling so hokey dokey, and that's okay. reach out to someone who's having a better time than you are, or reach for inspiration. And Jeff, that was a long. I didn't get your question. I just went off on a tangent about inspiration. So, what would you like the angels to help you with today?
Yes, I have a sense of trip in Bahamas. I spent 8 days on a catamaran, and on my way back home, of course, I had to take flights, and we snorkeled, and I dove deep, sometimes. And when I got home, Marcia, I was still like I was out on the boat. What do they call that? Sailors or land legs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I couldn't, yeah. And that was in June 2018 when I took that trip with my brothers.
Okay.
And I still have this dizziness, or not dizziness, but it's like a rocking. And I still have this rocking going on. And so, it's been 2 years since my stay, and I've been diagnosed with this. My doctor thought I had Parkinson's. My regular doctor ruled vertigo, all that stuff out. And then, but then I mentioned a great doctor in Memphis, Tennessee, by the way, and he had been all over the world speaking, and was probably one of the best doctors around in this, dizziness, hearing, that sort of thing, hearing.
Right.
And
equilibrium.
So he diagnosed me with a rare disorder. It's disembarkment syndrome. And so, yes, and so my mind still thinks it's out on the boat.
So here's what the angels want you to do. The first thing is, I want us all to remember, we live in physical bodies. So when you are experiencing symptoms, please don't ignore them, but go to a medical professional and rule out all of the things. If you have contracted something that is life-threatening without treatment, please get medical intervention. Now, once you have explored the medical avenue, I want you to go even further and add the spiritual to whatever medical intervention they have suggested for you. If you feel that the medical is right, you've got to always trust your own intuition. If a doctor says you need to have surgery and that feels wrong to you, make sure that you get other opinions and that you respect your own wisdom. You don't just run off the road because somebody tells you to do so. Remember, you have your own intelligence, and when you align with the divine, you have access to infinite intelligence. So here's what the angels are telling you right now, Jeff, and that is the first word they gave me. The first thing I heard was balance and equilibrium. So you're in a state of resistance to your own balance. You are deliberately trying to put up some roadblocks to the success, probably in the music business, because there's still a little bit of unworthiness that's trying to poke its head up. So let's explore that a little further. In other words, what I'm saying is, your music is something you want badly. It is
Yes.
something that you have been pursuing for a long time and that you have been practicing for. However, given the way that you grew up, there's always a little bit, and you know how to do this because we did this together. There's always a little bit of, I'm not worthy because people didn't want me when I was a child. So you are putting that old pattern that you've already overcome. You're digging because you want the music so much that you're trying to give yourself a back door, an escape route, because if it doesn't work, it's going to feel bad. But what the angels are saying is you have to close that escape route. You've got to recognize some of the times that you play, not going to be great. Other times it's going to be over the top. They want you to work through the disasters to get to that place where Jeff is really one with his music. And that means you're going to have to do some experimenting, and some of the times are not going to be so great. And they're a little painful. But, hey, you've watched me grow through my own angelic journey. And know, in the early days, it was not so great. These kinds of conversations were a little less comfortable because I wasn't trusting myself. They didn't say, okay, don't have those conversations. They said, have more of them. They're saying the same thing to you. Don't shut off the music. This is your purpose. Do more of it. But do more of it without the fear that you're going to fail. Just know that sometimes you are. It's just part of the journey. If you are not willing to mess up, you'll never be able to improve.
Yes.
So spend some time with the child that was abandoned and say, okay, I get it. This is really bringing up some stuff for you. You're afraid that people are going to abandon us if we can't play perfectly every time.
Yes.
Give that child to Mother, Father, God. Let that child know that no matter the outcome, he's going to be accepted. And then you go for it.
Yes.
Push through it. You're going to, and not by yourself, though. Angels, please help me move through this.
Oh,
I've closed all. I have closed all of the escape routes. There's no more escape. I'm just determined to see this through, whether I do it horribly or I do it well. This is my drive, my passion, and my purpose. So I'm going to find somewhere to play my music, even if it's
They have placed wonderful things before me recently.
Yes, they have. But you've got to be so on point that you agree to do it, even if the place they give you is a rundown saloon.
Right,
you can't.
Right.
So because otherwise you have all these little escape routes open. Okay, well, I know the angels will want me to do this if I'm playing Graceland. Okay, well, you did get the but but let's say that Graceland didn't come through. By having that kind of standard, you've left a door open. So now they're saying that the angels are supporting you in your quest for music when it feels good to Jeff to bring forth this music. It doesn't matter if other people enjoy it or not. It's really all about filling you to overflowing.
Amen.
And then knowing that joy that has now filled you, that love, that incredible purpose that's driving you will automatically flow out onto the other people in the audience so that they are inspired to pursue their own greatness.
Yes.
But you've got to find it within yourself first by closing all of the doors. No more escape hatches for you. You're too advanced. In the beginning, when we're beginning our spiritual journey, we're allowed to have those escape hatches. We're allowed to say, it's too hard, I can't do it, I can't do it. And then we run back and we play small for a little while, and they keep pushing us and pushing us. As long as we stay on the journey, they're pushing us into our greatness. But you have stepped too far into your greatness, Jeff, to allow these back doors. Now, it's not a choice of if, it's a choice of when.
How and when.
Where.
Yeah,
right.
How and when and where. Yeah.
So no more escape routes, no more back doors. It's just, if there is no place available for me to play, I will start a YouTube channel because I have to share this music. I have to express the joy of the divine that is flowing through me with music.
Yeah, they're asking me, or they're telling me that writing is what they're wanting. They need,
and until you start doing that,
writers, yes.
Okay, but until you start doing that, this imbalance, the feeling like you're at sea,
yes,
that I'm a little off balance, that feeling is going to continue until you answer the call completely.
Yes, they are calling me. They're asking all of us. I mean, they are in need of writers right now.
They're in need of people who will share their gifts, whatever the gift is. They're not just in need of writers. They're in need of excellence from all of us.
Yes.
But not the same excellence, because then we would just be monotone. Remember, we're a rainbow. We're a beautiful symphony, but we're only a beautiful symphony when all of us play the instrument at which we excel. So that means that when they identify or help you identify an area in which you are profound at, if you try to say no, now you're out of balance, you're off kilter, you're feeling icky because you're holding back on something they've asked you to present. And once you're far enough on the spiritual journey, there's no more saying no. There's only, okay.
You know, there's this morning, they led me to a place where I needed to go. And I was right there. And all because that this place said I could pay through PayPal and get the tool that I needed for my inspiration. So, or put your Visa, put all your, what you call your information, your credit information on that spot, in that site. And what happened, Marcia, is when I clicked on the PayPal, it would not go anywhere. It just blinked. And I clicked and I clicked and I clicked because I did not want to give out my credit information. And so I clicked on it again, went back out, went through the app and everything. You know, it was an app that I need. And went back and registered. It was an app that I had years ago, and I need to bring it back in because it's a big tool of mine. But I'm having to give out my credit information to a site that I don't particularly trust. Yeah.
Okay, so this is where you need the support of the energetic realm. Angels, you acknowledge what's going on. You don't ignore, you acknowledge. Angels, okay, I'm feeling really uncomfortable about giving my credit card information to this particular site. If this is for my highest good, please allow it to go forward smoothly. If it isn't, then please stop it before it starts. Now, they immediately told me, call PayPal and get them to assist you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, you see how darn easy life gets when we
Thank you, girl. I'm telling you, you are just so connected. Yeah.
But everyone is. I'm just connected in a public space because they asked that of me. And I am, so this week, I want all of us to practice being connected in the way that it feels best to you. Really work. Spend this week really honing that connection skill, looking for the way that it resonates most with you. And it can be hearing, which would be clairaudience. It can be seeing, which is clairvoyant. It can be feeling, which would be clairsentient. One of those is going to be really active for you. Just work on your active sense. Don't try to bring all three in at once. There will be a pathway of ease for each person. It's a connection that you brought in with you so that you would always have an easy way to connect. Spend time this week really expanding that connection.
Yes.
And then let me know how you're doing. And they will help us by giving us ideas and examples of how we can make it easy. But the first thing is always being willing and then giving yourself permission. So we've run out of time. This is the last thing that we're going to do. And that is we're going to close our eyes. Just take a deep breath and relax. And now repeat to yourself, I now give the angels permission to communicate with me. I now give the angels permission to communicate with me.
Permission to communicate with me.
Easily. Effortlessly. And clearly. Now, you've got to pay attention. If you're feeling resistant, that's on you. So you go in, close your eyes, and okay, I release the resistance. I've given permission for the communication to be clear and to be effortless and easy. So if I'm feeling resistance, it's on me. That's something I need to clear up so that I can honor my angelic connection or an energetic connection. I say angels because it's easy, but the energetic realm is filled with magnificent beings that are not all angels. So that's just my...
Charmel is my angel.
Beautiful.
Do you know her? Or he or she is
Shamuel.
Shamuel. Yes.
Yes. Beautiful helper. And I think I'm just going to call them helpers because helpers is a term that doesn't get us stuck in one. Because your helper can be one of the ascended masters, or it can be another being in the energetic realm that is not well known. And you don't need a name in order to receive help. You need willingness. So we've established that you're willing. You've given permission. Now, if you perceive resistance, that's your signal that you need to stop, take a deep breath, and clear and say, no, I am open to receiving. I am allowing, and it's easy. I am receiving now. If it's if you can't understand them, it's on you, never on them. They are always answering. They are always making it. They are helping. So
you know me. I'm living around resistance.
So but it doesn't have to affect you because you're in charge of you. And that's the beautiful thing we need to remember. And then truly, this is going to be the last thing I say because we're over time. But here's the thing.
So thank you.
We can never control another person. So if God didn't love us, he would make our ability to communicate dependent on being able to control the energetic realm. But we can't control anyone else. We can only control our own thoughts, feelings, and permission. So, because God is absolutely balanced, here's your balance again,
yes.
your equilibrium.
Yes.
God has determined that the determining factor in life is you. You determine whether you're going to receive. You determine whether you're going to be open for guidance. You determine whether you're going to accept the guidance and act on it.
You're amazing.
If there's ever a problem, it's because you, for whatever reason, and there can be many reasons, have decided to be resistant. So you just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to relax. I'm going to step back into the flow. Thank you, angels, for pointing this out to me. Let me just let go. Let me just let go of needing to be in control and trust that the outcome that God has planned is better than any that I could have created on my own. And that's where it's going to begin and end for all of us. Trust that the outcome that God has planned for you is better, bigger, more magnificent than the one that you could have created on your own.
Right. Thank you, Marcia, as usual. You're a beautiful heart.
Oh, I love all of you for contributing in all these beautiful and magnificent ways and for forcing me to stretch. I am so deeply grateful for your questions, your concerns, and your interest because it has caused me to grow far beyond anything I believed was possible for myself. So with deep gratitude and absolutely unending love, I am going to have to say goodbye until next week. But as always, I am wrapping you all in pink and gold blankets of unconditional love and holding you in my heart. So until next week, I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests, and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.